You're listening to the Game Tenants Podcast.
What's up, and welcome to the Game Tenants Podcast, the failed adventures of two gamers and their quest for Gamecast stardom.
AKA worthlessly lazy, but so game crazy.
This is episode 104, and I am Church of the Game Grinder, and as always, joined by my excellent co-host, Jason of Corpse Flood Gaming.
What is up? 104 stands for how many days it's been since we did a last episode.
Yes, and it's a great way to follow up. A big milestone for this podcast is missing weeks as celebration of 5 years of the Game Tenants Podcast. That's the quality that we bring you each and every episode.
We did a moment of silence, but we didn't know when that moment started or when it should end. So we just got confused and we're like, is that good? Is that? Yeah, a couple more days, maybe.
Let's keep going. So just wanted to mention that. I'm not going to do any reflections or anything. Basically, any thoughts that we had on the podcast, I think, is go back to episode 100, listen to that. That was a fun episode.
Watch that. You can watch that.
You can watch that.
It's a video format.
And we had live comments, too, so that was a lot of fun. And, yeah, we talked about the podcast, so, don't really need to do that all again, but 5 years of the Game Tenants Podcast. As I say every year and every milestone, I'm sorry.
Sorry about that. It's still going. I'm still here. Sorry.
What are you gonna do?
I don't know. Tune out.
Haha, joke's on us. I guess.
Yeah, well, that's all right. We have fun. We have fun here.
Yeah.
I mean, we're basically we would just be having these conversations anyway. Just no one would be listening. So we're basically like just, I don't know, spying on ourselves. It's like, the FBI can't do it. If we were to do it, it's just like, it's just our way of being like, we can't be spied on if we broadcast it is the same as like making fun of yourself, because then it takes power away from bullies. Like,
there we go.
Damn, he already said it and he said it better.
Something like that.
Sure. He knows the material better. He knows what sucks most about him.
Yeah. So we got some things to talk about.
Yeah. Briefly. Yeah, so haven't talked to my good pal for a bit. I mean, we message back and forth like all the time, but even that's been a little less lately. We've been busy boys.
No real reason, to be honest.
No, I'm not mad at you, so you know. There's no ill will.
Yes. Same. Well, let's jump into the retro game highlight and kick this bad boy off.
Yeah.
Last time you talked about The Thing.
Hell yeah, I did, because that was like Halloween.
Yeah,
Halloween.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
Yeah,
same as last time we did an episode.
Halloween was coming up. I think it was just October.
But, I'm pretty sure it was the middle of October.
Halloween is the month of October, and everybody knows that.
Yeah, but that's what it is. But anyways, a game that I swear I talked about at some point in the past, but as far as a retro game highlight, I can't find evidence of it otherwise. So I'm going to talk about one of my favorite Super Nintendo games this time. Terribly underrated game, I think, and that is Secret of Evermore.
Holy piss. What's that all about?
So Secret of Evermore is essentially an American-made...
Whoa.
What?
It's a secret, man.
Oh, well.
All right. We love our listeners. They can be in on it.
Yeah. But it's basically an American-made Secret of Mana, but everything's, it's that engine, that gameplay style, but it's different, very different. It's a boy and his dog. Unfortunately, it's not 2-player, which I think is my biggest complaint about the game is that if they didn't make it co-op like Secret of Mana was.
Yeah,
but
they would have had people for the first time ever fighting over player 2. So who gets to be the dog?
Yeah, right.
That's probably why it didn't happen.
Possibly.
Developers couldn't even get it made because everyone was fighting over programming player 2.
It seems very, very strange, but there's some reason. But essentially, you start off in a modern setting, and as the kid and his dog, you wander in this factory, and you basically go on like a time travel adventure. And it's a little bit more slower paced than Secret of Mana. It's a lot more kind of like melancholy, kind of like dark and
Isn't it also more of like a modern-ish times too, not like a medieval? It's
well, it goes back to like prehistoric time, and then there's like pirates and I forget exactly what time it is that you go to the second area, and then there's like Mayan, there's future, so it's kind of all over the place. But pretty rad game, sweet soundtrack, very, very atmospheric soundtrack, which was kind of different for games back then. Usually they're more, music, where this has a lot of just kind of
block rocking beats.
Yeah. But I really like the game. There's a couple rough spots in it, but I don't really hold it against the game. I still think it's pretty sweet. And I say if you like Secret of Mana or that style of game, I think this is one definitely worth checking out.
Feel it. Yeah, I've liked what I've played of it. I've never gotten too far into it, but
it can be kind of tough too. A little tough.
Well, I like a challenge, but that's not why. I think I just checked it out when I got it. I was like, this is pretty neat.
Pretty neat. Really cool is that as you travel through these different time periods, your dog changes. It starts off as a regular dog, and then it becomes like this like werewolf looking thing, and then one's like the future. It's like a kind of looks like a hovering toaster dog. Pretty cool. I like it.
Who doesn't love hovering toaster dogs?
Yes.
That's why we like Mega Man.
Sure.
This hovering toaster dog.
Yes.
It's more of a platform dog, but
it's all kinds of dog. Submarine dog, jet dog, rocket pack dog, spring dog.
I'm sure he makes toast.
Probably.
Kind of a shitty omission.
Never for Mega Man because he doesn't need to eat.
So
we never seen it, but it probably does it.
Yeah, maybe he just makes E-tanks. I don't know. Warms up E-tanks. Motherfucker.
Okay, let's jump in some news things. A lot of this might be stuff that you've already heard about, but we wanted to, or at least I wanted to share my thoughts on some of this.
Sure. Stokage.
Yeah. I am stoked.
I'm stoked. Don't hog all the stoke. We're stoking up in here.
There's plenty of stoking to go around here. Yeah. Especially when it comes to one of the greatest game series ever made.
Of all time.
And I am glad that this is happening for various reasons, but
I'm glad you're glad.
There is a Mass Effect Legendary Edition coming next year, and this is a remaster of some sort of the original Mass Effect trilogy.
Of all sorts.
We don't know if it's just the minor upscaling, if they're actually doing anything with it. Who knows? But
shine up that Shepherd booty.
They don't have to do much because those games are absolutely fantastic as is. I love all three of them. And this is another great opportunity for a very great series, I guess, to come to a new audience.
Excellent.
Some people complain about remasters and remakes or whatever.
Well, you know what? It's skipped a generation at least, just about.
True. That is true. Well,
I'm
sort of.
I'm more like pissy on something being like last gen, 2 years or less old, and it coming out again. You're like, really? Wait a bit. Earn it.
Yeah.
But I can't even complain about it. They could have done the remaster the day after 3 came out, and I'd be like, woo! Get it again.
Yeah, I've wanted well, I think there is a collection of some sort.
Well, there's the collection of the 3 of them together in like one pack.
Yeah.
But
nothing, didn't do anything with it.
I intended to get the PS3 one just to get it because I already have the 3 of them on 360, but it is what it is.
Yeah. But that is awesome, and I hope it includes all the DLCs because a lot of those were really good too. I don't really want them to change.
Yeah, it's everything in all the DLC.
Yeah,
really everything in all that.
Don't want them to change much, if anything. Just maybe make the game look a little better. Maybe make it run a little better. As I've been saying as of recent, no game 2020 and on should come out that does not run at 60 FPS. Especially with the new console generation. They got no excuse. Stop it. 60 FPS. Do it.
61 FPS.
I mean, the more the better. Let's go up to
no more than that. That's too much.
144.
62 is too much. 60 is not quite enough. 61 is the sweet spot.
Yeah. But kind of surprising, as it wasn't too long ago we got word that EA was basically putting Mass Effect on the back burner because of how poorly Mass Effect Andromeda did, even though I enjoyed it thoroughly. BioWare just confirmed that they are actually working on a Mass Effect game, but I'm sure it's like pre-production or
maybe they're working on it like Bethesda's working on the next Elder Scrolls game. You're like, oh, so like, yeah, 8 or 9 years it'll be out.
It's gonna be a ways, yeah, for sure.
Coming soon to PS6 and hopefully. Xbox something dumb name. I don't know. You can predict what the next PlayStation is going to be called. You ain't even got no clue what they're going to call the next Xbox.
Yeah, who knows? That's going to be an interesting one.
They'll take Xbox right out of it. They won't even be part of the name.
Let's call it the Series X 360.
X plus X.
Something, who knows?
To the power of X. It'll probably be called Power of X. That's what I'm pre-predicting. We're just starting a new gen, but I'm already snowballing what's going to be happening next gen. So a little bit ahead of the curve. No big deal. Who cares? That's all current gen shit now. Like, there's no speculation to be had. What's up with that new Xbox? I bet you they're already working on.
I have no idea.
I'm barely interested in this one, so let's maybe next time.
Yeah. So we'll definitely be talking about more Mass Effect as we get more information about that.
I'm ready to get Massive Erect when that comes out.
Indeed.
I love me them games. I'm not looking forward to the amount of time I'm going to lose when they come out again, because I don't know, man. I don't know. I played one to absolute death to the point where I'm like, one thing I hope they change when these come out is the loyalty achievements. I don't want to do that shit again. to get the loyalty with the different crewmates.
I thought that was
you had to play through the game like 7 times to get them all.
Huh?
It's fucking annoying. Yeah. Because you can only have 2 at a time, and it took about like 85% of the game to get them.
Oh, you just do their missions.
Oh yeah, you had to do more than that.
I did it. I got everybody's loyalty. That's how you like keep everybody alive in Mass Effect 2.
That's Mass Effect 2. The first one, you gotta play through the game with everybody, and you got 2 squad mates, and you get their You got that achievement?
No, probably not.
Yeah, those are the annoying ones. The Mass Effect 2 is doable. Mass Effect 1, you literally had to have them with you on every mission until about 85% of the way through. Then they'd be like, all right, I love you, bro. And then do it all again because there's no way to actually do them all in like one mission. So yeah, you had to pick your favorites, stick with them the whole game. But I'm like, but I want Garrus. He was always my fave.
Yeah,
he was my bro.
Yes,
Garrus is best bro. I don't care.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, good. You're my Garrus, bro.
I appreciate that.
I'm glad you take time out for your calibrations finally to do this podcast with me again.
Engines need calibrating.
Don't act super bothered that I interrupt your calibrations either. That's cool.
It's all good.
Yeah. So what else happened lately?
Yeah, another shout out, as I always like to shout out Gamers, the documentary series. Gamers spelled GVMERS. It's crazy, I know.
Invert that A and take that cross part out of it.
They're one of the best around, doing the best game documentaries, and they a few weeks ago they put out the controversial development of Bully, the Rockstar game. It's pretty interesting. I never played that one.
You never played Bully?
Never played Bully, but I know all about it. Thanks to this documentary. I've known all about Bully, but I've just never played it.
Come on, man.
What is
I'm gonna have to. Is this another game I'm gonna have to bully you into playing?
I think you gave me a copy. Already.
If not, I'll send a copy just come through your window, like tied to a brick.
See,
damn, man.
I got a copy. Yep,
Yeah,
I got it on PlayStation 2.
Yeah, pretty sure I gave it. Yeah,
pretty sure I got it from you.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. It sounds like every episode we talk about, like I don't give you that many games. It just happens to be the games we talk about.
You've given me quite a few games over the years. I appreciate you.
You're welcome, man.
I
gotta stop bullying you, or else you're just gonna go back to calibrations with some headphones on.
Right, there we go. Speaking of, I just lost my segue. Speaking of Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, surprise DLC, Bloodless mode.
I wasn't surprised.
I was very surprised. Partially, not really. A lot of people were wanting Bloodless to be a playable character, as we are waiting on one more actual Kickstarter promised playable character. Apparently, one of the devs was like, "Hey, I want to do a Bloodless mode," and there we go. It's pretty much just like the Zangatsu mode, which you just it's no story segments, or throughout the game or anything. You just play as the character. It's basically like Richter mode in Castlevania Symphony of the Night, where you get to use these characters' new abilities, level them up, progress through the castle, however works for you, and it's pretty sweet. Bloodstained, man. Keep the content coming. Free, by the way, as well.
$300? God damn, that's
$300. Yeah. And I'll talk more about this a little bit later when we talk about what we've been playing, because I played it.
You spoiled it. That was the big reveal on this episode. Well, it was good talking to you guys.
Yeah,
Catch you next time.
I guess.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of big reveals and things coming out, being showed off, had any luck getting a next gen console, pal?
I have had 0 luck.
Goddamn.
Ruined
If
multiple nights.
Limited Run was selling it, you would have had that shit.
Right? Because Limited Run's website doesn't crash.
You got that magic.
Their website doesn't crash. If Walmart, if Amazon, if Best Buy, if Newegg, all the websites that were offering these didn't immediately crash when these inventories went live, I would probably have one because I'm pretty good at doing that. But every single freaking time the website instantly crashes. I don't know. Seriously, how is anybody actually buying these? The website crashes.
Why?
It doesn't load for 3 minutes and then it's sold out. How does that happen?
Economics.
I don't get it. And unfortunately, it was the same thing for the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X. Although I hear it was a little easier for people to get the Series X.
Yeah,
but I think
man.
it's pretty much been just as hard for either consoles. They're sold out like crazy everywhere.
I heard if you try, it's pretty easy. Just try. Do a
I
good
will
job.
slap you.
I've been sending him very, very many of these failing to get new console.
I've shared a
games.
couple too.
It's fun.
You know, we can all suffer together because I know a whole bunch of other people who are in the exact same boat as me. I guess that's what we get for trying to day one the console for the first time, because I've never tried to get a console day one.
As we know, I was going to, but check back with me next year when God of War comes out. If I do not get that God of War edition, I'll be pretty pissed off too.
Yeah. I think you might be a little bit more lucky with that by then, because everybody will like, oh shit, I just bought a PlayStation 5. Now I'm not gonna
I'll be like, fools.
Or they do what we're hoping is that they release like, custom side panels or something.
Lick my side panels. I want just a custom.
Apparently, there was a company that was producing some alternate side panels, and Sony like cease and desisted them. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so who knows? Custom side panels, maybe that'll be a thing. I don't know.
Mad Cats, get at it.
Jaw dogs.
Yeah.
Jaw dogs. Mad
Yeah. Rock Candy is gonna make some like $3 ones that make your $500 console look like a $20 pharmacy console.
Sure.
Yeah, pharmacy knockoff console. Yeah.
But yeah,
I got the X game Series Y.
Yeah.
So no one tries to steal it. It's a good security measure.
Yeah.
Oof. I feel bad. They like fix your door after they kick it down. Like, look at what this guy's got to deal with. This is really what he's got to play. I feel bad. Let's just go.
Mm.
There you go.
Yeah. But anyways, I tried many times to get a PlayStation 5. Failed.
Hey man, you know what? It could be worse. You could not have a PlayStation 5 and also be a juggalo. So there's that. So there's always an upside. Unless you're a juggalo, then there's no upside at all.
Okay. Hey, silver linings, right? Everybody keep this in mind. Life lesson.
That you're gonna be like, the opinions of Corpse Slut are not indicative of the feelings of this podcast.
Hey, I accept all peoples, and juggalos
Oh,
included. I'll just make fun of them.
I can accept them. Yeah, it's fun to roast. It's fun. I love my wife, but I roast her all the time. She's not a juggalo, by the way. I'm not saying that. I'm still married to her, so it's pretty. Whoop whoop. All right. So so I want the PS5 first, and I'll get it eventually.
Yeah,
But honestly, if I've got the money just sitting there and I see one, maybe I'll just I don't know, maybe I'll just grab one of them. I don't know.
If it wasn't backwards compatible with the PS4, I would definitely wait. Well, I don't know. I really want to play Demon Souls like right now.
Go ahead. Okay, we'll cut this short. Go fire up the PS3.
PS5. I want to play Demon's Souls Remaster is what I want to play.
Oh, we should have been more specific.
Yes. Mainly that. But you get some enhancements, better load times across the board. And
I don't know. I was playing Miles Morales earlier on the PS4 Pro, and I loaded pretty quick.
Yeah.
Great game already, and I'm like 15 minutes into it.
Sure. Yeah. I'm gonna hold out. I'll get it on the PS5 for sure.
You're gonna lose out.
I won't. I'll be
Spider-Man 2 will be out by the time you get that shit.
Hey,
I want you to prove me wrong. I want you to look back and gloat next episode when you're like, I got 2. I was gonna give you one. But
22nd.
You had to be a smart ass last episode. So go fuck
22nd is apparently the next time a retailer is going to have some PS5s. Early Black Friday sales start, and then all throughout the week there's various retailers. I got a list. I will be there, and those websites will all crash, and I will swear to the heavens above and curse the names of.
There's no heaven.
What?
Okay. There's no heaven. What?
A figure of speech.
Crumb will laugh at your 4 wins.
I will curse to the cosmos.
You'll yell to Crumb, but you seldom do that because he does not listen. Okay.
So I'm gonna try. I haven't really been paying a ton of attention to the Series X release. Like I said, very similar, but I'm not sure of the games that were released. Not really sure what I know. I think Ori, but you have to download that. I believe. I don't think they got like a Series X version of Ori in the Willow.
Well, a lot of the stuff has automatic like upgrade if you buy it on X, like Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Like I bought Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I bought Gears Tactics, and they have an insignia on the top right on the Xbox One case that says Series X on it. So and it automatically just gives you like a free upgrade. So be cool if you could double up on the achievement list if you really like the game. But yeah, haven't started Assassin's Creed yet, but it's looking pretty cool. It's probably I think it's the first one I bought day one since 3. It's pretty sweet.
Sure.
It's Viking shit. It'll hold me over till God of War. Even though it totally copies God of War by having Viking related stuff. God of War invented Vikings.
Yeah, right.
As discussed in a previous episode.
Yeah, don't really have a whole lot of other thoughts on the new consoles. I want.
I'm already waiting. I'm feeling zero jealousies because, as we know, I was like day oneing it, but the fact that Horizon 2 and Spidey are on PS4, I am totally fine with waiting. I've seen nothing that really makes me need to get it yet. So, God of War is a different story. I want it right now. I don't know what I'm gonna do with my shelf when it comes out though, because all that new God of War merch shit's gonna come out, and I'm gonna have to knock a wall out, make room for my new God of War swag.
Yeah.
I'm still mad at all my friends for no one getting me that life-sized Kratos that you could order on Amazon that I didn't know existed until like a month ago. But
I didn't either. Why not? Why not?
life-size Kratos, who you don't need any security. You can leave your door open. No one's gonna come in there when they see that giant Kratos.
I bet there's probably some company that you could, I mean, it's not the same, of course, but there's probably some company out there that could make cardboard standees for you, and they'll like turn a blind eye to copyright stuff, like maybe a Chinese company or something.
There's one in town that'd probably do that for me, but it's like if it's not a standee, it's a fucking like statue.
Yeah.
It's like a foam rubber statue. Kind of like my my Waldo zombie dude. Yeah. Pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
It was probably like $3,000 though, so that's why someone else is buying it for me. I must have got lost in the mail.
Yeah.
My birthday was 2 weeks ago. Assholes. Stupid COVID.
Yeah, right. It's exactly.
So I know my friends came through for me, but it's just stupid COVID. Holding up the mail.
Yep. All right. Well, let's jump into our community question from last month. A little behind the times on this one, but
wait till you hear the new Enabler Bros. It was recorded like
2 months ago.
Almost, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a bit. I was kind of wondering.
It's been a fucking bit.
I was gonna call you out on that later, but
do it right now.
You just outed yourself.
Oh, yeah. See what I mean? You can't bully me about it when I bring it up and shit on myself for it. So it works.
Yeah.
But yeah, while I'm sitting here on my computer, I should finish it up, get it out. We all talking about can't wait till this happens, and you're like, that was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. So anyways, last time, as always, for Halloween-y episodes, we talked about some horror games, and we asked listeners, what are some of your favorite legit creepy or like scary horror games, ones that actually have that little edge to them.
Edgy.
And we had a response from Wreck-It Wrens. Says, answer the community question. It's tough to answer this question without mentioning games that you both did. Silent Hill being my go-to choice. But I would have to mention The Evil Within. The first game scared him a few times, and the music throughout the game had him feeling uneasy. I haven't played the sequel, but I will soon.
Cool. I've heard the sequel's a lot better. So, and I've heard really mixed things, more to the negative about the first one, which is probably why I haven't played it yet, despite owning it for quite a while. I own the second one, and it's one of those things that I don't know. I gotta just form my own opinion about the first one, get through it, because the second one looks really good. So, yeah, I've got both. Might as well play them. Why own them if you're not going to play them, right? So
exactly. And I would say I would encourage everybody to always check out things on your own. Even though I wasn't a fan of The Evil Within, if anybody knows my history, it's actually the game that made me decide to make a YouTube channel, because I was so shocked. I was so shocked about what I was hearing about the game and what I experienced. I didn't even have my own footage or anything, and it's the only negative review I've ever done.
Spoiler on all the other reviews, man. Everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, that game, he likes it." Okay,
it's not a
reviews now.
It's not a bad game. I just had lots of issues with it, especially for what it was. It was touted as being like the new return of like horror. Yeah,
it was like the new genre. It was like, yeah, it was touted as being like the next huge horror thing. Yeah, like, just let it be.
They're like, Shinji Mikami has returned. He made all the best Resident Evils, and this is.
So don't tout the resume if you're not going to up the ante.
I mean, a lot of people liked it.
Oh,
But I'm not here to naysay here. I'm glad Wreck-It Rens enjoyed that and got some good spooks.
Sweet.
And thank you for your community comment. It is greatly appreciated. And
Hell
I
yeah.
hope
We love to hear from people.
Yes, I hope to see more community questions in the future.
We do put a lot of last minute effort into these questions, so we're hoping that we like it when people answer it. We just like to get the convo going. We don't actually put a lot of effort in. Sometimes we just come up with a bang and we're all proud of, and that's the one that nobody answers.
Yeah.
You're like, shit, that was a good one, man. I thought that was a good one. I thought that was an original one.
Yeah.
But then you were like, what's hidden gems on the PS1? All of a sudden everyone's commenting. You're like, come on, man. That was a zero effort one.
Right?
Yeah.
So we got a community question for next week.
That's it. What's some hidden gems on the PS1, yo? I don't know, man.
All right. We'll
Well,
spin that.
What?
Because this is what I like to do. I like to connect it to what we're talking about. What are hidden gems of this last gaming generation?
All right. I like that.
PlayStation 4, Xbox One, even, of course, the
The
PC
Wii U.
releases of the same time. Let us know some like true hidden gems. Those games that nobody talks about. Or even in games that maybe some people talk about.
And if you don't like the term hidden gems, like we also don't,
Underrated.
you can even just write fucking gems.
Yeah.
Call them what you
Underrated
want. Call them what you want. What's some games that don't get enough love?
Games that don't get enough love. Games that just deserve more attention.
Yeah.
You know, and I'd even suggest going more obscure than like, stuff like Gravity Rush, which I think are wholly underrated.
There's games I see all the time that I'm like, what the hell is this? I just randomly see it looking for something. And I'm like, no one's ever talked about this game.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing because I don't really want to be a guinea pig sometimes. I'm like, looks kind of cool, but not interesting enough that I want to take the plunge on it unless it's like $10.
Yeah.
So it's good to hear. As much as I don't like the term hidden gem, I do like the thought of sharing of underrated, underappreciated, under-talked about games. It's good to hear about something besides nothing but AAA junk all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cool. So,
what have you been up to?
Games.
What have you been up to?
I was going to ask you because you're actually playing some video games for once.
It's been quite a hiatus. It's been quite. I mean, my hiatus was game related.
So that means then your game room is done.
Yeah, it's done. You know, it's as a game room
on the internet for everybody to bask in the glory of all your hard work.
Yeah, I should. Yeah, I've been sending them to you, but yeah, it's a game room is a work in eternal progress.
That's true.
I am comfortable in saying that it's done, which is why I'm back to playing games. As listeners who have been with us a long time, aka if you joined us last episode, I had a massive exodus of my entire not only game collection but also my action figures and Transformers and what have you. Just about everything I collect, I decided to move because I gave up my game room to my wife to use for her tattoo and piercing studio. And I did it of my own volition. I wasn't forced. I wasn't coerced. I was already grown up out of that room for quite a while, but I was making do with what I had. But I've now moved it to a different location. It's up. It's looking good. There's always little tweaks going on, as a game room. You're always like, oh, I should put that there. Oh, I know I just set that up. Maybe I'll move that over here instead. That looks better there. So I got to say with confidence that I'm done. There's a few small things, but I'll call it done.
Yeah.
You know, I gotta put the finishing touches on my NES table now, which is what I when I started, I mentioned to you that was like my signal to myself that okay, it's all done. Stuff's gonna go back to normal. So I'll be working on that now. If my kids would stop having Ghostbuster toys all over it. First world dad pride problems. I'm still proud of them playing Ghostbusters, but they leave a hell of a fucking mess. And I like it just set up and displayed. So every time I put it back, I'm like, yeah, yeah. Speaking of which, in moving my action figures, I've been slowly letting go of my affinity for cardboard. I've been opening them up a bit. Not everything. Some things I'm still being a stickler for, but as I run out of room, I predict myself saying fuck off boxes, getting rid of more boxes. So
yeah, figures is a tough one.
Yeah, I mean, I've got stuff. I'd say actively as an adult collector, I've been collecting figures and shit since like 2007. I got stuff that's older than that, but that's when I started actually getting, I don't know, I was into toys obviously as a kid. So I've got a bunch of my stuff from when I was a kid. But when I I kind of got out of it for a while, collected other things into other things. But then when I started getting back into toys, like when I got myself a wife, basically, or a solid enough girlfriend that didn't go, what the fuck you gotta buy toys for? Then I was like, hey, cool, I can buy toys and not feel like an idiot. I found someone cool. So I basically started collecting then, and now I'm regretting it a little bit, because if you want to regret collecting something, have to move it.
Yeah, right.
The only time I've ever regretted collecting anything, only time I've ever regretted collecting video games was when I had to move all my video games. And then I did it again. I was like, why did I buy this shit? And then as soon as I fire one on, I'm like, oh yeah, that's why. And then when I set up all these figures, why did I buy this shit? And I set it up. Oh yeah, that's why. It's fucking tight. Love it. So yeah, it's been an ordeal, but it's been worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've never been prouder of my collections, because I can actually display pretty much everything.
Sweet.
So that being said, now that everything's set back up, I purposefully kept the cords in a bin while everything else is getting set up, because I was like, I know if I sit down to play, I'm just like, oh yeah, it's good enough. And I'll just tell myself it's good enough and not finish the room, so it's done now. So I've been getting back into some gamage.
Yeah, what you been playing? You've been beating some games.
I've been buying games like I'm still beating them every day. And I'm back to beating them every day. I beat Gears Tactics, which came out a week ago as of us recording this.
And how was it?
It was excellent. I've been hotly anticipating this coming to console, as it came out in, I believe, like April, March or some shit on PC. And even though I've got a PC capable of playing it, I'm like, no, wanted it on the Xbox. Because, I mean, I don't know. I'm happy to just have a new Xbox game. So
it's
grabbed it.
Like Gears XCOM, basically.
Yeah, it's Gears XCOM. A lot of people are like, when I mention what it is, they're like, oh, like Halo Wars. I'm like, no, Halo Wars is an RTS. I don't want to get okay, nerd. But it's like, yeah, it's totally different. It's like strategy.
Yeah, it's pretty big difference.
I'd be like, it's closer to. Yeah, it's. I tell them, if they don't know what XCOM is, I'm like, it's more like a board game than like. I don't know. RTS is more like action figures. Like, these guys move over here. You don't have action points to worry about. Where you've got like so many things you can do in a turn, which is where the tactics comes in. Because if you could be like, hey, walk all the way over there and shoot that, then you don't need to worry about it again. As like an RTS. But yeah, a lot of fun. A lot of what I liked about Gears is intact. It takes place like I think it's 2 years after Emergence Day, so it's before even the first Gears of War. I believe even before Gears of War Judgment. So far it's the earliest on a Gears game has been in the lore, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
It follows a different team. Weird, I don't know, pre-order. I don't want to say pre-order bonus because I didn't pre-order it, but like I don't know, I guess an incentive to buy it new. It gave you like a code for Thrashball Coal. So that makes it officially, I believe, Gears of War is actually Cole is the main character of Gears of War. He's been in every game. He's the only one that's been in every game. So he's shoehorned in there. He doesn't belong because he's straight up just in a football outfit. So that's what Thrashball is, just football. But apparently you can't say football. He's a good character. He's got good stats. He's got good equipment and everything. Because that's what you do. Like you get these loot box gear things, but they're not. You can't buy them. You pick them up in the mission. You earn them from doing objectives. There's no pay to win shit in this. So nip that in the bud. But it's a really cool system the way they do it. That's how you unlock all your different mods for your weapons. You can't switch weapons. Like each character, there's different classes. Like Vanguard is what uses a retro lancer. There's support that uses a regular lancer. There's snipers, scouts that use shotguns, heavies that use mulchers. And my favorite character wasn't even a main character. Speaking of heavies, when you save characters in missions, like they'll be in like those torture pod things, like Dom's wife was, and I saved saved a guy with a mulcher, and he was like my main. Like who's gonna be on the team? I'd be like that guy all the time. If I can choose him, he's gonna be in there. And he was like my main guy. Everyone else had like you could like customize the color of their armor. He's the only one that had like bright ass purple armor. So I could always see where he was on the battlefield. There he is. There's my guy. So it was it's pretty cool. So that's how you can unlock. You have that's what it called a caravan, which is basically how many soldiers you can have. You got your mains, which are like your heroes, and then you get the ones that you save, which you can recruit. You can choose to recruit them. It doesn't cost anything. It's just kind of like, but you got to be mindful. Like, okay, I can't just have all, each one's good for their own situation kind of thing. So it's without going too far into it. That's what I liked about it. It was like switch it up a lot. And by far, it is the longest Gears game. I just looked up like how many chapters or acts there were, and there's like 3. I was like, oh, that doesn't sound too long. And there's 22 chapters, but there's these side missions that aren't optional. The only option you have is sometimes you have some to choose from. There'll be like 3 or 4 to choose from, and you'll have to do 2 to 3 before you can start even doing the next mission. So you got to basically pick what kind of mission you want to do. So that's the only option there is to it. And to be honest, that's the part that got kind of annoying because a lot of those are kind of samey style missions. But overall, I really liked it. I thought it was cool. And I'd play more of it. Funny thing is, like, speaking of like Halo Wars, I think I like the Halo Wars games more than the actual Halo games. So I'm not saying that about this, but I would definitely support some DLC or a sequel. As I can see this going, maybe some different modes, different styles of missions. Because like I said, sometimes it started to get a little old by the end. It was about 44 missions, I think I did. So fun game, but after a while. But yeah, definitely check it out if you've been on the fence about it. I never was. They just said Gears, and I said how high. Anyway, and then I beat that last night finally. I've been playing it a lot. I think I must have logged like at least a whole day in that 24, 25, 26 hours probably. So definitely longer than any other Gears game. I would say Gears 5 is by far the longest in the main series so far, and it was way longer than that. So good. And then today, I just wanted to have an X-Men day. So I goddamn did, because no one's going to tell me that's enough X-Men, because it's never enough. I've been going a little crazy on action figures and shit lately. Like, since I've been setting them up, I'm like, I could use a couple of this guy. I could use this, I'd like to build this team. So I've been buying more, and there's been a lot of X-Men stuff. So naturally, when I hook my systems up, I'm like, where's those X-Men games at? I feel like playing some X-Men. So I beat X-Men Mutant Apocalypse on Super Nintendo. Excellent game. I like it a lot. I've played quite a bit of it, but I've never beaten it.
Same.
It's a lot of fun. It starts out, you have, I believe, 6 characters to choose from, or maybe 5. And you do one mission. That's a specific mission for each of them. And then after that, you go to a new area and you can just select who you want to do each mission. So that's pretty cool. And you can do the specific missions in any order you want. You just go, I want to do the Cyclops mission. I want to do the Psylocke mission. I want to do the Beast mission. Gambit, Wolverine. Always stoked to be Gambit. Wolverine's my favorite Marvel character in general, but I think Gambit is my favorite X-Men character, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense.
Psylocke's pretty cool.
Psylocke is pretty cool. And she's very underused. Like, I'm not super up on the comics, but I never seem to hear about her.
Yeah.
I feel like she's a hidden gem of a fucking X-Men character. Eva. I remember even back in the day when she was like popular with people I knew. I'm like, yeah, is she in like 3 issues of the comic? Is she like did she make a cameo? Because I remember even like trying to collect, she was in the one series and she wasn't even in the other one barely at all. But yeah, so it was cool. Liked that. I knew I was going to like that because of how much I've played of it already. But yeah, I think I've basically played the one solo mission for everybody and then kind of like been like, oh shit, I gotta go. Had to turn it off. But then I played the 2 Genesis X-Men specific games. X-Men and X-Men 2 The Clone Wars. Pretty cool games. As I said in my tweet when I beat the first one, it's got to be the tinniest sounding fucking Genesis game. I know there's some pretty tinny ones.
No, it absolutely is.
It's so... I was like, I thought it was just like the speaker on my TV. And I was like...
I mean, that's a lot of Genesis games, though, to be honest.
Huh? What's a lot of Genesis games?
That tinny, like...
Oh, yeah.
Sounds like an electric razor on a metal bowl.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But it's like... like there's the odd one that's got a odd sound here and there, but this one was like the music was even like, oh man, I don't know if it was trying to do like guitar solos in parts, but like oh,
sounds and fart noises.
Yeah, it was like I don't generally mind the Genesis, like even when some of the like I don't mind the sound like bass, like bass heavy music and shit like that. But this one was just like, ow, man. Like, I actually felt like an old man because I turned it down a bit. I was like, this hurt my ears. And played it. Yeah, it was cool. What I liked about the first one is there's only like the 4 X-Men you play as, but you could summon the other unused X-Men, like main X-Men, as like your power-up or your special move. So you could like summon Storm and she'd come and like blast lightning everywhere and fuck shit up. It was pretty cool.
I used to play the heck out of the original X-Men because when I was a kid, I had a friend that had a Genesis. So, I'd play his Genesis and he'd play the Nintendo and Super Nintendo.
Lucky guy.
Yeah.
My childhood friend who had a Genesis Soul Mail has Genesis games, so that's kind of cool.
Nice.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, and that's actually where I got that copy of X-Men. So that's pretty sweet. X-Men 2, oddest beginning of a game ever. You fire it up, no start screen. You're just in the snow. Did you ever play the second one?
I have not.
As soon as it starts up, you're just in the snow. You're like, huh? Did I load this up from a... Did I just have my Genesis in sleep mode? Was I in the middle of a game and I turned it off and then forgot it's got that feature? Way ahead of the Xbox One and PS4. But no. That's just how the game starts. No start screen. You're just in the snow. You kick some guys' asses. You finish the first area. And then it's like a movie where it's like, bam, 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 X-Men 2. You're like, oh, now I know what game I'm playing. So if I had a game with no label and it was X-Men 2, I'd be like, X-Men something, or maybe it's like a Wolverine game. I don't know. Yeah, so you beat the first area and then it tells you. I'm like, whoa, it's like a movie where like the first scene happens and then it does the title crawl or whatever. So that was cool. The music was leagues better. The sounds were leagues better than the first one. It played mostly the same, but I'd say the story was a bit weaker. But the sprite work, especially on the cutscene stuff, top notch. Some really good shit on there. And probably my favorite feature of this game, besides the better music and not having to turn it down, you get to play as Magneto, which you rarely get to do outside of fighting games and X-Men Legends. So I was a big fan of that because the other two games I played, he was like the main baddie. So you fight him at the end of both the other games. Spoiler alert, but you know, X-Men's gonna fight Magneto. If you didn't know that, sorry about ruining your first day like an X-Men. Yeah, he was probably my favorite character to play as too in the game, and that game adds much more characters, about double the amount of characters to play as the first one. So huge fan of that. Yeah, the story was kind of stupid, but you know, it's all about clones, Clone Wars. You know, I don't know. Clone stuff's always kind of dumb, especially when it comes to comics. But you know, you fight the end boss. He kind of looks like Vector Man, but like crappy orange, like Clayface from Batman, because he's a mix of clones. He basically is Clayface. He just turns into whatever characters that are playable in the game. That was kind of cool. You fight him a couple times, but yeah, other than the story being kind of a little bit weaker than the other two, I'd say it was probably the second best one. Mutant Apocalypse is probably the best. So, but all pretty enjoyable. So if you like X-Men, check those out. One thing I got to say, the first one of the Genesis games again is one of the games that seems to think that 90% of the time Wolverine should just punch guys. You know, the guy who you'll be lucky to find an action figure of with him not popping his claws out.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, using his claws is you need to use some of your power meter to use his claws. So that's super frustrating. And a lot of games couldn't quite figure out Wolverine. And I believe the Wolverine game on both the NES and Super Nintendo also have like when you use his claws, it hurts you.
Yeah.
So that shouldn't be a big deal because it does hurt him, but he heals real quick. So that should be a non-issue. So yeah, Wolverine, awesome character, kind of tough to figure out in old school games. Like, well, he's basically immortal, but you know, they don't want him to beat the game without dying. So yeah, that's lame. But in the second one, I don't think it used meter to use claws. So big ups for that. And Mutant Apocalypse doesn't do that either. So I think those might be the only old games featuring him that don't hurt him to use his claws. So he's not just a guy with a metal skeleton that'll Well, if you want a guy with metal skeleton that just punches, I know it's a bit different, but just have Colossus because he just has metal outer skin and he just punches. So you just negated the reason for having Wolverine by doing that. I don't know. That's just me. That's just how to do Wolverine needed better representation on old school platforms rant. But I know that was 4 games, but that was like 40 minutes of talk. Sorry. I was just excited to be playing games again.
I'm glad you're playing games again.
I just started, as I stated a little while ago, Miles Morales tonight. Already a banger. Game of the year. Just kidding. But yeah, I'm like 15, 20 minutes into it. Then I had to go do some adult things, so I just had to turn it off. But so far, loving it. Probably won't sleep tonight because I'll probably be playing that till the wee hours of the morning. I'm excited. So what have you been playing? I'm even more excited to hear about this. I think you beat more games than I beat. And
I've done it a couple times.
That's good to hear. I'm not saying you never did. I'm not.
I have.
That came out different than I meant it.
Yeah. So first thought, I want to shout out that I actually put out a video. I mean, it's a pickup video, but hey, it's a pickup video.
I've started watching it 3 different times. Not because it's bad, but because someone bothers me every time I start watching it. So I regret to inform you I've not finished watching it yet, but
I don't blame you. I like my pickup videos.
I do like your pickup videos, which is why I've tried 3 times, or instead of just being like, oh, well, I guess I'm not meant to watch it.
Yeah, so there's that. In that, I had shared some of my hype about a game that I was playing when I recorded that video, and I have since finished that, and that is 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim, which I'd mentioned in the previous episode that I was going to play that immediately after Parasite Eve.
Mm-hmm.
This is the latest release from Vanillaware, again, mostly well-known for Odin Sphere, Dragon's Crown, Aramasa, Grim Grimoire. Typically, they make kind of like fantasy, kind of like action-adventure games in some way or another. Very renowned for their art style, where 13 Sentinels was, at least from trailers, looked very different. More modern setting, dealt with like high schoolers, mechs, like big
anime
fighting
tropes. The game.
And I wasn't really sure what to think of it because they didn't do a good job of really kind of showing you what was going on. But
yeah,
holy crap, this game was amazing. This is depending on how long our game of the year list is going to be. This is going to be on my list because this game, I loved it, absolutely loved it. So basically, not going to talk about the story too much. I think this is a game best enjoyed. Again, kind of just jumping into it because the story is a huge mystery. There's so many like crazy twists and turns. There's time travel. There's all kinds of craziness. But what's really interesting is how the game presents itself. There's basically like two significant pieces to the game. And neither of them can be effectively explained by typical descriptors. I've heard some people try to say half of the game is visual novel, the other half of the game is an RTS. And that is barely true, but also tracks so much away from what the game does. So the half, like a big chunk of the game involves you kind of you play as these 13 different characters in little segments, getting their perspectives, piecing the story and all this craziness together. And people want to say they kind of do the visual novel comparison because it's a lot of talking, it's a lot of dialogue. But you actually like do some exploring of environments, smaller areas. I would say it's more comparable to like adventure games without all the incessant clicking everywhere on the screen. Think maybe more like Telltale games, without the choice, the big like choice heavy element. But I don't want to. It's so hard to describe that I feel like when I talk about it, it's just it's making it sound worse than it is.
It's one of those things that's just hard to make it sound as cool as it is.
Right.
I do that all the time.
I mean, this is definitely like if you're a person you just want gameplay, you just want to jump and punch things, like this isn't a game for you. Like if you're a person that loves like engaging deep stories,
I find jumping and punching pretty engaging. What are you trying to say?
I mean, I like jumping and punching, but sometimes I want to play a fantastic story game.
I want to jump and punch for a reason.
But the other half of the game is kind of like this. It's like a strategy game where you have the story, but then when it shift over into basically the mecha battles, which is a huge part of the story too, and how it all ties together is it's awesome. But it's kind of instead of actually showing like little mini mechs and like the enemy units, they're more representations, like an icon to represent the different Sentinels and the enemies, the Deimos. But what's really neat with that is, so it kind of almost gives you like the simulation. You get the map of the city with your units, but as you select your different Sentinel and you go to choose like what attacks you want to do, like it'll actually show you like what the Sentinel looks like, and then when you click on the attack, it'll give you a little like animation preview that shows like what it looks like, kind of like anime style, which is pretty sweet.
That's pretty sweet.
There's a lot of strategy, a lot of different ways you can handle the mecha battles. There's just, oh my god. If I could say anything, and I shared this on social media, I think one person that did a fantastic job really kind of pointing out what makes this game as good as it is My Backlog Battle, which is a YouTube channel, been around for a long time. I would definitely recommend checking out that review if you want a little bit more information. But this is going to be one of the most underrated games of this year, like hands down. And it is just so good. I just can't. I mean, I finished it days ago and I'm still like thinking about it a whole bunch. Soundtrack's great. The voice acting, what was interesting is when the game was originally released, there was a day one patch that included the English voice acting and the English cast. A lot of recognizable voices from anime, like Christina V is in the game, among other people. And they just bring so much life to these characters, and they add so much. I didn't check out what the Japanese voice actors were like. I'm assuming they did a pretty good job too. I think this game's strength is its writing, the story, a lot of very unique concepts. It's very different with some of the ideas that they bring to the table. Very unique story, presentation. Oh my god.
How dare they do all that?
10 out of 10. I absolutely love this game. Recommend it. Please check it out, everybody. If you've never played a Vanillaware game, maybe this is the one. I don't know. It's very different. It is so different, and that's what I love about it. I love games that dare to be bold. Like I know the director of the game said, and I don't remember exactly what, but there was something like, he's like, all the circumstances that led us up to this point finally allow us to make a game like this, where if it was years prior, they wouldn't be able to do this. I'm assuming probably because it is such a bold idea that, the publishers funding this might be like, whoa, that's too risky for us. We're not messing with that. And I love it when they take a chance, because they make a lightning in a bottle like this game. So Yeah, can't hype it more. 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. Check it out. So then moving on, I actually every once in a while, me and one of the previous co-hosts, Justin, a good friend of mine, will kind of like hang out for the weekend. And we did one of those and played a bunch of games. Knocked some stuff out of my backlog. First up was Blazing Chrome, which my best comparison is it's essentially like a spiritual successor to Contra Hardcore, but better. Like right now, I'm really, and it could just be recency bias, disregarding nostalgia. As far as like the running gun games go, Contra, Super Contra, whatever. Like, I kind of think that this might be my favorite of the genre.
Did you call Super Contra?
Super C?
Did you just call Contra 3?
Call it
fucking
whatever.
You just called it whatever? You
No.
buddy. Call the PS1 Contras whatever, because those are whatever.
Well, it was more, whatever is more, that was more meant, etc.
I'm joking. You didn't have to name off the whole list. I know what you mean.
But Blazing Chrome is awesome. Like they constantly mixing up the gameplay, switching over to side scroller to like going down tunnels and all different craziness. Awesome music.
I think my copy's at your house still.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Fuck off, COVID, so I can go across the border, buddy.
And I think the big one thing I like is I like a tough game, but I like being able to progress. And I think the big separating factor for like difficulty wise compared to like Blazing Chrome and something like Contra Hardcore, which is a really tough game, is you actually get like a mid-level checkpoint that when you die, you can restart at that mid-level checkpoint instead of having to redo the whole entire level, which I think is kind of cool.
It's really good.
But still had good difficulty, ton of fun. Justin really liked it too. So definitely recommend that one.
I recommend you explain to me these next three.
These next three, Streets of Rage 1, 2, and 3, that I have never actually beaten before. I've only played a little bit. Like I'd sit down and play them for like maybe like 15 minutes or something, and just that's it. I don't own the games. I have them on collections, and unfortunately, this was on the Sega Genesis collection for current consoles. So that was cool. I don't know if the sound is.
That's me cracking my knuckles right now.
Yeah, and so I'd played and beaten Streets of Rage 4 earlier this year, and when I was looking at this collection as something to play, I was like, sure, Justin recommended those. It sounded like he was in kind of like a Streets of Rage mood. So heck yeah. So we played through Streets of Rage 1. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I am bummed that I just now actually like finished the game.
You're looking back on a sad life up to this point.
Pretty much.
Do you see now? Do you see why?
Why
they're my favorite beat 'em up series?
Yeah, and then continued on with Streets of Rage 2, which just
You're gonna jump on the fuck final fight bandwagon with me too.
Yeah. I always thought Final Fight was kind of mediocre.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're cool, but
it's get out of here.
Some.
Just kidding. Yeah, they're okay.
But then Streets of Rage 3 was also awesome, but I think I prefer like Streets of Rage 2, then Streets of Rage 1, and then Streets of Rage 3. But they're all sweet games.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't need to say much about those. Everybody knows Streets of Rage. So, and if you don't,
now you know. Everybody else knew up to this point. Right. Now you finally know.
If anybody listening doesn't know, fix that. They're not long games.
I don't even know if I liked your tweets when you beat them, because I was just so knocked back by it's never beat these before. You find new ways to shock me all the time. So the friendship is always a surprise.
Yeah, so then after those, as I mentioned earlier, Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night, we're like, hey, surprise, we got a new character DLC for you. Bloodless, which is one of the earlier bosses in Ritual of the Night. It's this, like, I don't know, she's kind of like a demon chick or vampire or something.
Yeah, she's a vampire. Isn't she in a bathtub of blood when you see her? Yeah.
And yeah, you play as that character. I thought like I said, there's no real story to go along with these additional character modes, but they kind of mixed it. They did something a little bit different this time, where Zangatsu, you start at the same start place as Miriam, and you just play through the castle. Where this one, they actually start you in her room, her boss room. Then when you like go back to the starting area, like there's actually like a voice line that I thought was like, oh, that's kind of cute. And then at the end of the game, there's another little additional scene. But I had a lot of fun. I mean, I enjoy Bloodstained like through and through. One of the best Metroidvanias, and it was a lot of fun playing through Bloodless. As she levels up and you explore, she gets stronger and you find more abilities. So it's not like Zangatsu, where you get all the abilities at the beginning and you just kind of play through. She actually gets better, so that's kind of cool. And yeah, definitely recommend that. And again, like I said, free DLC. And then now I'm currently playing Little Hope, the new Dark Pictures anthology game. Same people who did Man of Medan and Until Dawn. And not very far in it, so hard to say. They're trying to really amp up the like spook factor on this one. Like I thought Man of Medan was a very, very slow burn. Where this one they're trying to like get some jump scares and stuff right away. It's kind of interesting. I'm digging it so far. I am having a little bit more beef with in a lot of these games where they give you these kind of like, you choose like kind of like a mood dialogue choice, and then it'll say one thing, but then when you choose that, like their reaction will be kind of like not what you're expecting. And it's like, what? Wait, no, like that's not what I would have reacted like. But that's kind of a small gripe.
Yeah,
but I'm enjoying it. It's pretty cool.
Speaking of which, guess what I just installed while I was installing a couple other games on my PS4?
What's that?
I'm going to do a run through Until Dawn, Man of Medan, and Little Hope. Pretty soon. I might actually do it on my next night shifts at my new job.
Cool. Hey, and shout out for anybody listening that hasn't seen it. I actually did a video review of Until Dawn a few years ago. Pretty proud of that video. Check it out.
Do check it out. Do check it out.
Yeah, so let's jump into looking at some upcoming games here. Now, we did miss a couple weeks, so I would just kind of like back up a little bit, shout out any notables. Of course, we had all the PlayStation 5 Series X releases, so a lot of ports, but some new games. You, of course, Jason mentioned Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I think that's one of the bigger ones. Then we got Gears Tactics. What else?
Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Thank you.
I think since our last episode, G.I. Joe Retribution, Transformers Battlegrounds,
Watch Dogs Legion.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of shit I bought. Obviously, Spidey Man's.
Yep, Miles Morales, Bug Snacks, Demon's Souls Remaster, Godfall, The Pathless, which is one I'm super interested in.
Little Hope, as we have just discussed.
Yep, Little Hope. We got the new Black Ops, Cold War, Call of Duty.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, whatever those are. And apparently coming up here, I didn't know this was a game. But in my recent pickup video, if you check that out, I picked on sale. I picked up Bridge Constructor Portal, and apparently coming out in a couple days here is Bridge Constructor: The Walking Dead. Interesting, odd. But then we also have Hyrule Warriors: Age of Calamity coming out.
Do.
World of Warcraft Shadowlands.
I gotta buy another damn Zelda game. I bought Cadence of Hyrule because they just put a physical edition of that out. So unexpectedly just impulse bought that shit. So
thought about it.
I
thought about it.
You should think about impulse buying a goddamn Switch on Black Friday or something. Play some of these games you got.
I need to impulse buy a PlayStation 5.
Why not both?
Why not both?
you got a better chance at actually getting a Switch. Yeah, there you go. There's a plan.
There you go.
There's a promise.
Yeah, and then I think the other kind of like big one coming out here in a couple weeks is Immortals Phoenix Rising, which could be pretty cool. Could be pretty cool.
Yeah, we're in the season.
Yeah.
Where way too much shit coming out. Especially with my resurgence of buying, like I said, these action figures and shit. I'm like, quit it. Now I see why I like cut down on buying action figures and shit, because I was like, I need to pick a thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
I also did buy a very expensive Lego set. So there's that. Looking forward to that, Sean.
Too much stuff to buy.
Yeah, a $300 almost Canadian Ecto 1 Lego set that I cannot not have. But it's a Christmas present for the family, because that's something we'll do together. We don't do puzzles and shit, and we never seem to get very far in one of those unless it's like 100-piece one or something. But a Lego set, you best believe the whole family, except my wife, but in this instance she can be part of it. I'm gonna make her hang out and be cool like the rest of us, because basically I need someone else to help keep an eye on the 3-year-old, that he's not losing shit that we need. But this thing's massive, so I cannot wait to get this and check it out.
All right. So as per usual, I'd like to shout out what's going on in the Cartridge Club. October was Parasite Eve. I hosted that episode, and that episode is available on YouTube. There's a video version of it with gameplay footage, and of course there's the podcast version available on podcast apps. So I would recommend checking it out. There are some absolutely awesome guests on that episode.
That was a really good discussion.
Really made the episode. Pretty happy with that they
participated. Popping. You did some excessive editing for that.
Yeah, I did a lot.
My understanding too, so that's cool.
Hours of editing.
So your work paid off. It's a sight to behold or hear.
And then so currently November is Banjo-Kazooie.
How far are you? I didn't notice that in your playing.
Yeah, I'm skipping November.
You have quit the Cartridge Club? What is going on?
I have not quit the Cartridge Club.
What's going on then?
You don't have to play along with every game to be in the Cartridge Club. That's the great thing. So for anybody listening, you don't need to play along with every single game to be a part of the Cartridge Club. Just get involved however you want, whatever works for you. But I'm
assuming it's because you beat it already.
But December, I will be playing along because December is Life is Strange. I'm pretty hyped for that one.
I'm pretty hyped for one coming up pretty soon here. I'm going to be playing Life is Strange also, but
we'll get there eventually.
I'm excited for a few months from now. And then the month after, I just found out about it. I don't know how I missed out. I must have missed one of the podcasts or something. March is Ninja Turtles month.
Yeah, check it out.
I need some clarification on that shit.
NA.
And they Ninja Turtles month. So I guess I'm gonna maybe do a goal to beat every Ninja Turtle game that month. I've got them all in one form or another. Not every version of every game, but I'm still missing. I think the only thing I'm really missing is the tournament fighters for NES.
Got a ways to go to plan that one, so.
Oh, there's no plan. It's there. I don't need to order up. I already ordered up, so.
There you go. And then Cartridge Club or Quick Save Club, which is the sister podcast, which is PC game focused game of the month. They're wrapping up Torchlight 2 as their October-November game of the month, and that is my phone beeping. Sorry,
that's fucking rude.
Rude. What is rude is probably the fact that I cannot, for the life of me, figure out what the heck the Quick Save Club game for December, January is. You guys need to make these posts a little easier to find, because I checked Twitter, I checked the Cartridge Club forums, and I checked the Discord, and I just cannot find it.
What? You'd be sweet if it's a stealth game.
Yeah, right. I'm pretty
like,
sure
I'm sorry, Church. Are we too stealth for you?
I'm pretty sure they mentioned it on the last podcast, but I don't remember what they said. And I couldn't find it flipping through, so what the heck, guys? But Quick Save Club, they're on Twitter. They'll post about it.
I really hope it's a stealth game. That would be the best.
It's not, because they played Thief a few months earlier this year.
Maybe that wasn't sneak enough.
Yeah, maybe. All right, so as we wrap things up here, what you're going to be playing in the next couple weeks?
I thought we were just getting started, but okay. I'm going to cut off my conversation. What am I going to be playing? Well, I'm going to be playing the shit out of Spider-Man.
Yep.
Probably going to check out that Transformers Battlegrounds. I mentioned those 3 games, Until Dawn, Man of Medan, Little Hope. I got Star Wars Squadrons I want to play. I got G.I. Joe Operation Blackout that I got to play. I'm behind, man. I don't know who I'm behind. I don't think I'm behind anybody, but I got to do some catching up to something.
Do it.
Yeah, I don't exactly know what to say when I'm behind. I still think I played more than enough games this year, but there's always more games to play. So.
Yeah, and I'm not sure. After a Little Hope, I don't know. I'm gonna probably play some quicker games.
Bully.
Probably not Bully. Probably play some quicker games, and then once December hits, I'll play Life is Strange.
Also, you got till December. There's probably some Yakuza games kicking around over there somewhere.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
I don't know, man. There's lots of shit.
You
might have a PS5 by then. You can start off with playing some Spidey-Mans.
Demon Souls.
Not be left in the dust on that.
All right. Well, as we wrap things up here, I just want to let everybody know how they can get a hold of us if they would like to get a hold of us, and I hope you do. So the podcast, of course, is available on YouTube, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, and however you listen to podcast apps. Check us out. We're on there, the Game Tenants Podcast. You can look me up on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram as The Game Grinder. And Jason is on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as Corpse Flood Gaming.
Sometimes.
Always. Yes, so that is going to do it for this episode of the Game Tenants Podcast. As always, thank you very much for listening, and we will talk to you next time.
And thanks for your patience. We'll be back sooner rather than later.
Hopefully.
Bye.